Hello everyone and welcome to today's video where today we're going to be talking about the players that I believe will be the best players for Cricket Captain 2024, or at least vastly improved players or vastly different players for Cricket Captain 2024. I have a rough list. I'm talking maybe 10 players-ish. It's actually not that long. I've got some Kiwis obviously on there, some New Zealand players, and some other players who are from various countries around the world that I have noted have had significant performances in the last 12 months, and thus I believe will get a massive buff for Cricket Captain 2024, so you should definitely look at picking these players up when the game comes out for sure in your career modes. Let's start off with the non-Kiwi list. Let's go to Jake Fraser-McGurk. I mean, he is obviously a Melbourne Renegades player. He's absolutely lit up the past 12 months. Ever since the last Cricket Captain game, really, he is just on another level. He moved across from Victoria to South Australia. He hit 100 off 29 balls just to give us a glimpse of his potential and his talent. Then he went on to get the highest runs for the Renegades in the BBL. And then he's just lit up the IPL like no other. It has been incredible. He averaged, I think, 30-something, but striking at like 200. It was crazy. Has definitely struggled in the years leading up to this point in his career. And finally, he's turned a corner. And I feel like this is the Cricket Captain game to pick him up at last, because he's really going to deliver, especially on strike rate. Another on the list, let's move across to a bowler here, and let's go Shamar Joseph. He absolutely knocked over Australia in that test series for the West Indies. He was fast, he was accurate, he was X-Factor, and I feel like he could get a really important buff for the West Indies career modes, because I feel like he is a much needed bowler in their unit, and he's bowling really well at the moment. I feel like he is going to get a big buff, that is for sure. Going to a couple of Indians now. Jaiswal. It's got to be Jaiswal. Jaiswal's going to get a massive buff for this game. He has been unbelievable since the last game. He managed to hit 200 against England and like 11 sixes or something, which I believe is a record in a test innings. It was explosive stuff. It really was. He got 200 and something, and honestly, he's averaging 60 or 70 at test level. It is just bananas, actually, how he's doing so well. Definitely, Jaiswal will get a buff. My next one is more of a wild card pick, but I've gone with Mayank Yadav. He played 4 games, just 4 games in the IPL, but he absolutely dominated. Economy is 6.98. He's striking every 10 balls for each of his wickets, and he's regularly touching marks for speed, which has not been seen for a long time. I feel like he could get a buff. He's actually the most unlikely to get a buff on my list because it's so short-lived, but I think he could get a buff, depending on how the Cricket Captain developers really feel about his skill level. But nonetheless, I've gone with a wildcard pick in him. My next 2 picks are both left-arm bowlers here. We've gone with Shoriful Islam. I feel like did really, really well. He came over to New Zealand, and he actually was on par, if not better, than the Fizz over here in New Zealand, which you don't see very often at all. There was 2 left-armers absolutely dominating New Zealand in home conditions, even though it was our B team, really. And yet he still managed to take wickets regularly. He was economical, slower balls. He really looks like one for the future for Bangladesh. I feel like he's going to get much better for this game. I've also got on here Nandri Burger from the Rajasthan Royals, also playing for South Africa. He really did look the part. He didn't have the best tournament in the end, but I feel like if you actually look at his stats across the board, international cricket or not, like he definitely looks like one for the future again here. Left arm bowler, he can swing it, he can seam it. I feel like he's going to be a real package bowler, and I feel like he's going to get a good buff in this game coming up. So he could also be one to watch out for. Lots of good bowlers here to pick from for your career modes. Very exciting stuff. Which leads me on to one last batter who in the last 4 games for Durham, I think his last 4 innings for Durham in real life just now, David Bedingham is smashing them. He's got 4 centuries in a row for Durham, which is a record for that county side. That just speaks volumes about where he sits with his form, his aggression, his defense. He really did look the part of a proper test player coming to New Zealand against our test bowlers. He was the one player who looked extremely dangerous, like he was going to take us down. If we couldn't get him out, we could lose the test match. That's kind of how it felt. And he got 125, I think, against us, something like that. Got a good ton against New Zealand here. The only South African on the tour to do so. I feel like he is also one to look out for in this game. That leads me on to the Kiwis. we've got some big names on here as well, and some more unknown names. Firstly, let's go with Will O'Rourke. Came into Test cricket. Neil Wagner hadn't retired yet, but his first game, he gets a record 9 wickets in his first match. Neil Wagner then retires, or is forced to retire, if you will. He steps into the role against Australia, and again, just continues his great form. He really does look like a dangerous first-class bowler, if not across all formats. In fact, I remember he did very well against Pakistan. He is going to be a massive threat in the future. He is probably New Zealand's best up-and-coming bowler now, next to Ben Sears, who might also be one to watch out for as an honourable mention in this game. I've always felt like he's been decent in Cricket Captain, but maybe he'll get a little bit better. We'll have to just wait and see. But Will O'Rourke, definitely one of New Zealand's best bowlers in this game. I already feel it. Let's go now to Tim Robinson. Tim Robinson was an opener for Wellington in the Super Smash and also played for New Zealand against Pakistan as kind of part of our kind of B team, if you will. He came in and made his New Zealand debut, and I think he struggled in his first game, but got 50 and really improved throughout the series. He definitely looks explosive. That sort of player who's going to get better, much better than the last game, and that's kind of what this list is about. Tim Robinson's on my list, and the more unknown, Bevan John Jacobs. Explosive. 40 on debut against the Auckland Aces for Canterbury. He looks like he can hit a long ball. He looks like he can do it consistently, and he looks like one for the future as well. I feel like he's not even in the game yet, but I feel like he's going to get a decent second 11 rating. So he could be one to watch out for if you're looking for a good T20 player around New Zealand in your career modes. Speaking of good T20 players, we're down to the last 2 picks here. And these two, we're bringing out the big guns. Rachin Ravindra. I mean, he was already good in last year's Cricket Captain game. And I think he was kind of good the game before as well. He's been good for a while. Definitely in the last game. But my word, is he going to get good in this game? He is going to be very good. He's always been good as an all-rounder, you know, taking wickets. I think his wicket-taking ability will get nerfed a bit, but he's going to score so much more runs in this game of Cricket Captain 2024. It's going to be mental. He has to be one of the players to watch. If he's in any of your domestic systems, it is worth taking a look at picking him up, because I'm sure his stats are going to reflect that he is dangerous and he's going to be consistent, and he's kind of New Zealand's next best thing, really. Definitely watch out for Rachin Ravindra. And the most improved player on the list, my number 1 here, Glenn Phillips. I mean, if you picked him up last year, he wouldn't even bowl by default at all, mind you, number 1. And 2, even if he did, he'd be no good. Now, he averages in the mid-20s in his test career with the ball. I mean, it might even be lower than that. I think it might be lower than 20, actually, for Phillips with the ball, even though, you know, he did tour just Bangladesh, but still got 5 against Australia, turned himself from a wicket-keeping batter into a batter who could bowl a bit into an all-rounder. It is quite a remarkable transformation. He can really do it all. He really can, and this is his game to shine, I feel. He is going to be the next Rachin Ravindra, probably of last game in Cricket Captain 2023. He will be that of 24, Glenn Phillips, for sure, because he's going to take wickets. He's already scoring runs. I mean, he's just got the package that you want. And I guess, worst case, he can also keep. It's crazy stuff. It really is. He's going to be an absolute must to pick up in this Cricket Captain game. Really can't wait to see if we can get our hands on Glenn Phillips across any of our career modes, depending on what career mode we end up playing. Let me know down in the comments below who you think will get nerfed, who you think will get buffed in this Cricket Captain game. I'm very interested to know, because normally I don't do these sort of prediction videos, but we have a few days before the game comes out yet, so I'm very interested to see your thoughts on who is going to get better, who's going to get worse, what sort of team you're looking to put together in this game coming up. But everyone, that's going to do it for today's short video. Thank you to all the members who help support the channel. It is greatly appreciated. And until the next episode, everyone, take care.